What's up, y'all? Oh, okay. First, I feel like I always have this shirt on. I'm living minimalistically right now at this time in my life, so it is what it is. But it's been a while. I have so many things that I wanted to record about that I just have not gotten around to. But I did want to talk about, I'll backtrack later, but I did want to talk about an experience that I just had. So, the last few months for me have been very eventful, to say the least. More so with planning, putting some things in motion, really making some things move, some things that I've wanted to do for a long time. And definitely the epitome of moving in silence. So I'm sure the more talk about the things I have going on, the more pieces of it will come together, because my intent is really to make this not about travel or not about different, this will make sense in a second, but not about moving to different places. But my intent really is to just talk about my experiences, talking about my growth, talking about, going back to some of the purposes of this channel, richness in self, just how I'm developing as a person, how I'm elevating mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, all of those things. So I just had a moment within the last, I'll say maybe a couple hours ago. I am currently in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I'm gonna tell the story about my last week. I've been here for 1 week. It's Monday, I think the 10th. Yeah, April 10th. And the time here, I think it's 7 something, a little after 7. So, yeah, I'm gonna tell the story about everything that happened last week. But right now, 5 o'clock, right around 5, I finished working. There was a woman, I'm in a Black expat Facebook group. So there was a woman that I connected with who said that she was going to be here for a few days. And she asked me if I was interested in meeting up for dinner. So I told her sure. And I decided to ride the bus. Now I've been here for a week. I've had to go into town or come from town on the day that I arrived. Every single day except for Saturday and Sunday. So much happened over the last week. I had to dedicate those 2 days to rest. I took last week off from work, and I needed to just get my mind back on track, get my schedules together before going back to work today. But I told the woman that I would meet up with her. I wanted to ride the bus. I think it's like the equivalent of 55 cents or so to ride the bus. I had been taking Ubers every day downtown and back, which has been $15 to $20 each way. So you do the math, trying to be efficient here. And so while this is significant, the area that I'm in, again, is it's far out. And I'm actually not sure, I have not confirmed if I'm actually in Puerto Vallarta or Ixtapa, somewhere, but I'm somewhere out here. I am away from the tourist areas, which I didn't quite know that it was going to be this far out, although I do appreciate getting to see a different side of life and how people live, away from touristy spots. So another thing with that is it's fairly difficult to get an Uber from out here anyway, because a lot of drivers don't come out this far. So it takes forever. This might be a Mexico or just the area that I'm in thing anyway. It takes a while to find a driver. A lot of times you'll get on Uber and it'll say no drivers available. So that being a challenge, and also just paying to get back and forth, not wanting to spend all of my money on Ubers. I was like, okay, I gotta learn how to ride the bus. I have had so much anxiety about this bus, y'all, for reasons that I will get into in a different video when I talk about my last week. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna face my fears. I've got 11 pesos. I'm gonna get on this bus and I'm going downtown. Which, first, let me say, it is beautiful out here. Puerto Vallarta is nestled in the mountains, and it's a beach, oceanside town. So get the best of both worlds. But I get on this bus. I got on Google Maps. It told me to walk 11 minutes to the bus stop, get on bus 28 stops. It said 16 minutes. And then to get off the bus, walk 3 minutes, and I was supposed to be at my destination. I found the bus stop. The first bus I missed, I was running, and they don't wait for they might wait if they see you, but these buses, people don't even get all the way on the bus up the steps good before the bus is taking off. But I found the right bus that I was supposed to be on, and I'm riding the bus. It's going in the direction that it says it's supposed to go on or go in on Google Maps. And this bus, as I said, I'm already far out. This bus goes even farther out. And I'm like, okay. I'm a little anxious, not so much because I'm scared or anything like that, but my phone was dying. My battery was kind of low. I was at like 40% and going to be out for some hours. Still would need to either use my phone for the bus ride home or to get an Uber home since it's later in the day. I would probably have taken an Uber to get back. But I grabbed my phone charger to go. I came back. I forgot it initially. Came back inside when I left to get my phone charger just to not have the cord. So I needed whatever juice I had to get me through the night just in case nobody downtown had a charger. But yeah, I'm on this bus. I'm way out in the countryside, in like some little towns. I don't know what the appropriate word would be, but definitely not a tourist area at all. And the bus comes to a halt. And I'm like, okay. The driver looks at me through the rear view mirror, and I'll say fortunately, not that I expect anyone to speak English, but fortunately he did speak English, and he asked me if I was getting off here, and I was like, no. He was like, where are you trying to go? So I showed him the map that was going downtown. He was like, no, downtown. So he directs me to get on the other bus. It's the same bus number, but that was the last stop. So he changed buses to come back in the same direction that we just came from. So moral of the story is I got on the right bus going in the wrong direction and spent an hour on a bus just to go in a big circle and loop back home. But I'm in good spirits because I faced my fears. Like that bus ride, I was so proud of myself that I was able to get on the bus. I asked some clerks at one of the Kiosco stores, like a little convenience store. I asked them earlier in the week how much the bus was. So I had enough money. I had the right amount of money. And I actually built up the courage to get on the bus. I'm riding the bus. And again, it was so beautiful just being out away from the tourist spots, being able to really see the land, the mountains you see out in the distance. Trying to stay in the frame here. There were a lot of horses. I could have sworn some man was riding a donkey, but there were a lot of horses, people riding horses, a lot of cows, and just like ranches and farmlands. It was just really, really pretty to see the terrain. And although I didn't get to where I intended to go, I'm glad that I got to see this part of the country, this part of the city that I'm in, that I did get to see, that I know a lot of people don't experience. And I was also just proud of myself for even just being here. The fact that I can even say that I did this and that I had this experience and have seen the things that I've seen, that made me really happy. And the driver kind of let me know. I told him I was going to get off and just go home, but I was telling one of my friends I'm going to end up being a bus riding machine and be besties with all the bus drivers because they're going to be seeing a lot more of me. But at least now I know how to get to some of the places that I will need to get to and that I've been, which is Walmart, to get some goods. Also, I know that bus takes me, if not all the way downtown, it's closer to downtown because Walmart is maybe 15 or 20 minutes from downtown. So yeah, I'm just happy that at least I have more knowledge now. Definitely is a learning curve, but I'm trying to get acclimated, get used to the lay of the land, and now I can have more confidence that at least I can get to the store. There are some stores, I learned this too today walking out around the area from my neighborhood, that there are some stores at the end of the street. I saw some fruit stands, like a little market. So at least I'm able to get some food because I appreciate having an authentic experience and not just going to Walmart, for food or whatever, but actually giving back economically and buying things from people locally. So I look forward to being able to do that throughout the week. I do still have a great deal of anxiety about the language barrier on my end. I know minimal Spanish. One of my objectives for coming here was to learn more. And I know I just have to put myself out there. This whole thing really I thought about is being out of my comfort zone. I've had a couple conversations over the last week about being in the States, and honestly, nothing really fears me about traveling around the States outside of like sundown towns and stuff like that. But just as far as navigating throughout the States, I'm not really afraid or intimidated to move to any city because that's easy to me. Living on my own before, simple, I can figure out how to ride a bus, ask questions to people to make sure I'm going in the right direction. If I'm confused about anything, it's easy to ask when you speak the same language. But here, trying to learn in the heat of the moment is a little bit anxiety inducing, especially if the individuals I'm speaking to don't fully understand what I'm trying to say, and I can't fully understand what they're trying to say because I don't understand the language all that well. So I know the only way to do it is to do it. The only way to learn is to put myself out there, is to practice, ask questions where I can, and just be attentive and open to making mistakes, open to being taught. And so little by little, I know I will get there. But yeah, I just wanted to share that story. It's kind of funny. I think it's more comical than not. I wasn't, again, like afraid or anything. Definitely was hoping though that I didn't end up in a spot where I couldn't just get the bus back. I'm thankful that the same bus driver just told me to hop on a different bus because I don't think Uber goes out that far at all. So I really would have been looking crazy standing out there in the middle of the evening, not knowing where I am, not being able to talk to anybody if they didn't speak English. I would have to use my translator, Google Translate. But I'm glad that didn't end up being the outcome. But even if it had, I'm confident, and I know I'm covered and protected, and I'm sure some way, somehow, somebody out there would have probably end up driving back to this part of town, or somebody would have helped me out to get back where I needed needed to go. So yeah, so far, although it's had some stress, so far so good. I'm just trying to take things day by day, take deep breaths, not worry too much, but just trust in the timing of things and that I am where I'm supposed to be, because it's definitely been a process. Again, I'll make another video talking about it, but for me to even be where I am right now, being here in another country, being in this city, having the experiences that I've already had in the last week, and experiences that I'm sure are to come in the coming weeks and potentially the coming months. I'm trying to stay on the optimistic side of things. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, just sitting in the fact that I'm here. I'm here, and right now, in this moment, everything is okay. That I'm safe, that I have people that care about me, and that if push really came to shove, I could get an Uber and go home. But I really want to challenge myself to grow in this time of my life, to do things that I've always wanted to do things that I've always talked about doing. Because I know a lot of times people talk, they say what they want to do, but they never do it. And being in the field that I'm in, I hear people talk about the what if, or not the what if, well, yeah, the what ifs, what if they would have done things differently. Sometimes talking about regrets of things that they didn't do. And so I am really proud of myself to be at my age, to be where I am in life, to have overcome the things that I overcame in life, and to be at this point where I'm actively pursuing the things that I wanted to do. There's times looking back, I've always had this adventurous and eclectic, I guess you could say, nature about myself, but I could have never imagined in my in my teenage years and in my early adulthood, like early 20s, that I would have actually had the courage to do the things that I'm doing right now. And although anxiety is still something that I, navigate in my day-to-day life, it used to have such a great hold and grip on me that it really took priority and took control over anything that I wanted to do, or I'll say over a lot of the things that I wanted to do. There's so many things in my life, looking back, simple things, way more simple than packing up and moving, or traveling solo to another country. But there's so many things in my past that I wanted to do, but fear, anxiety, self-doubt kept me from doing them. So it is such a really big revelation for me to be at this point in my life, not just traveling, but just being at a point where I have a greater peace of mind, where I have a greater sense of confidence about myself, a greater sense of assuredness about myself, where I feel more at peace with who I am and my experiences, and just not being ashamed of who I am. And also having more of a boldness to use my voice. A client was talking about using her voice today, and I think that applies for me too. Being in a space where I am okay to use my voice. At points, I'll say a period, not even points, but a period in my life, I was afraid to speak, to speak up. I remember being a child and not really talking much. I'm more of an observer by nature, but not really talking much either because of fear, or not being sure how to relate to other people, overthinking about what I should say, what I shouldn't say, not feeling at home in my own body. So just the fact that I'm able to be somewhere where I have to speak a whole different language that I don't know. There's a fly. Or no. Uh-oh. I have like there's like a back terrace, I guess, and I have the door open for the airflow. So it leaves way for this one is on his, there's a little critter, a little insect here that is on his last leg. But I'm gonna have to close that in a second with these lights on. Actually, I'll close it now. But yeah, but just being at this space in my life right now where I am not afraid for the most part. I still have some moments depending, but at least if I am afraid, I don't always allow the fear to keep me from speaking up and asking people for help when I need it, asking for clarification when I need it, explaining things to people when I need it so that they can better understand what I need. So really just, again, reflecting on all of these things, trying to stay in a positive space energetically, and being present with what's happening in my life right now, being present with where I am, being present with the world and the people around me, and really just being excited that I'm here, that I'll have this story to tell, this experience to tell and remember for the rest of my life, and knowing that not a lot of people do that. Yeah. And that really helps. That definitely helps. So I think I'll stop here for this video segment, and maybe I'll record tonight too about the experiences that I've had from the last week. But for right now, on the topic of getting rich, I think right now, this experience that I'm having, and I'll say specifically, just to keep it on topic, the experience that I had today, getting on the bus, learning my way around, is helping me to get rich in confidence, to get rich in overcoming fears, and getting rich in being okay with not knowing, and being okay with making mistakes, and being okay with that. So I hope you all can take something from my experience. I say a question for you is, what's something that you have been afraid to do? Something that might take courage for you to do that you've been putting off. And how can you tackle that? Tackle that thing, tackle that task, tackle that idea. What will it take? Is it just a matter of will, or a matter of simply deciding to take action? Whatever that thing in your life is, I encourage you to sit with it, face it head on, and overcome. So until next time, peace, y'all.